Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Ohio.
The Indians' offense is rolling, and they hope the off day yesterday won't cool off the bats. Lost in the shuffle, Tribe starters. They rolled off 4 straight strong starts during this 4-game winning streak. Justin Masterson will try to make it 5 in a row as the Indians get their first look at the Twins next on Sports Time Ohio. And we welcome you in to the home of the hottest team in Major League Baseball, Progressive Field, home of the Tribe, as they open up a 3-game weekend series against the Minnesota Twins. Hi again, everyone. I'm Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. Yes, indeed, the Indians have the longest current win streak in baseball at 4 straight. Okay, it's a little bit modest at 4 in a row, but the way they've been swinging the bats has been key to their surge, and Ryan Rayburn is hitting everything in sight.
Well, he's playing like he's back in high school, for goodness sakes. He's hitting the ball all over the ballpark in the last 4 games. In the last 3 games, he got it rolling where he hit 4 home runs, and everything he hit just seemed to drop. Most of it was hard, and the times he did hit it soft, it still found a place to go into the hit column. So Ryan Rayburn is locked in. That'll make you smile. 11 for his last 13. Only 4 guys in all of baseball have ever been on a streak like that with 4 home runs and 11 for 13.
So definitely very impressive. Justin Masterson will start tonight for the Tribe, and the Indians, they've been really knocking the cover off the ball against former Cy Young Award winners, winning 4 out of 5. Tonight, they face Pedro Hernandez, who has 3 career starts and 1 Major League win. Come on back. All the action is straight ahead here on Sports Time Ohio as the Indians welcome the Minnesota Twins to Progressive Field for the first time this year. Beautiful Friday evening in downtown Cleveland. The Indians and the Minnesota Twins locking horns for the first time here in 2013. Justin Masterson on the hill for the Tribe tonight. Let's take a look at Ron Gardenhire's starting 9 for Minnesota. Brian Dozier in the leadoff spot, followed by Joe Mauer and then Justin Morneau. Brian Domet will DH and hit cleanup. Chris Parmalee batting 5th. Trevor Plouffe 6th. Oswaldo Arcia will hit 7th, and Aaron Hicks and Pedro Florimon.
Start number 7 for Justin this year. He's coming off a tough start against the Kansas City Royals, where he allowed 7 runs, all earned on 9 hits through 6 1/3 innings. That was game 1 of a doubleheader at Kauffman Stadium. He was roughed out, but he did have 9 punch-outs in that ball game, and he has not fared well in his career against the Minnesota Twins, 2-7 with a 4.38, but he's going to try and continue the good starting pitching that the Indians have had. They're looking for 5 in a row.
Stepping in is Brian Dozier. He's done a nice job in the top spot of that lineup for the Minnesota Twins. Takes a strike in 10 games in the leadoff spot. He's hit .286.
Some guys don't mind the leadoff spot. Other guys, it puts a little more pressure on them. They had a rookie up there, Aaron Hicks, who's now hitting 8th in this lineup, that they were leading off, their center fielder, and he just couldn't handle it. So Ron Gardenhire had to make a little shift or a switch to take some pressure off the kid, and this has paid dividends for him.
Well, Dozier leads it off on an 0-2 pitch. He pulls it through the left side of the infield, and a leadoff hit.
Let's take a look at the Indians' defense behind Masterson. Brantley, Stubbs, and Rayburn in the outfield. Aviles gets a start at third tonight. Cabrera is at short. Kipnis at second. Santana again at first base with Gomes behind the plate.
Laz Diaz calling the balls and strikes. Tim Timmons at first. Mike Winters, the crew chief, is at second. Mark Wegner down at third. Here is Joe Mauer. And he takes down low, ball 1. Mauer's been in a funk, as we talked about in the open, offensively. Taking it's a little bit high. 2 balls, no strikes. You see there, just 1 hit in his last 23 at-bats. But in his career, a .339 hitter against the Indians.
But this guy, so far it's been a streaky year for Joe Mauer. But he's a very patient guy at the plate, and when he gets into hitter's count, he's going to make you throw strikes. But the more pitches he sees in an at-bat, the more dangerous he is.
Now the 3-0. And Masterson finds the plate. 3 balls and a strike.
So far, Masterson, he's made 4 starts on the road. This is only his 3rd start here. But you can't pick a better day or a better evening than tonight.
Light breeze blowing in from right field. Mauer goes the other way, out of play. Full count.
See if Dozier's off and running. I would assume he would be, thinking that Mauer's going to put it in play and maybe open up a hole for him somewhere. To stay out of the double play, because last year Mauer hit into a boatload of them.
He's only hit into 1 so far this year. Runner goes. Pitch line to center, a base hit, and on his way to third is Dozier. And the Twins come out swinging against Justin Masterson, 1st and 3rd, and nobody out.
Well, you look at both pitches. The first one to Dozier, an 0-2 ball right down the middle. And let's see here to Mauer, same thing. They want it in, but this thing is right down Broadway. And deep in the count, so it's a good pitch to hit, and Mauer does. 1st and 3rd for the Twins. Nobody out.
Now Justin Morneau. Morneau has also done well against the Indians in his career. 483 at-bats, so roughly the equivalent of a full season. 24 homers, 103 ribbies. to left. Brantley over near the line.
That'll
Dozier will
get it
tag.
done. That'll get it done.
He will score. And Maurer will hold it first. Minnesota takes a 1-0 lead. Morneau's 14th RBI on the year. So that will bring up Ryan Doumit. The Indians have been getting out in front during their 4-game win streak. But it's the Twins who strike first here tonight.
And this is the first deficit that the Indians have had since the last game Masterson started in Kansas City.
Pitch to Ryan Doumit. Is down low, ball 1. Doumit, a switch hitter. Weekly tapped. That's Aviles who goes to Cabrera on to first, a double play. So the Tribe turns 2, but the Twins get the first run of the game. The Indians are coming to bat. Well, 1-0 Minnesota as the Indians come to bat here. The Tribe starting lineup is presented by Progressive, making it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. Michael Brantley leading it off, followed by Jason Kipnis and Asdrubal Cabrera, who's hit in 10 straight games. Mark Reynolds, Carlos Santana, Ryan Rayburn in the middle, then Mike Aviles, Yan Gomes, and Drew Stubbs.
Pedro Hernandez is making his 3rd start this year, his very first career start against the Indians. And he's coming off a win against the Texas Rangers where he went 5 innings. He's never pitched more than 5 innings any time this year. He gave up 5 hits in that start, walked 1 and struck out 3. He's almost 24 years old, and he came over from the Chicago White Sox. Let's check the defense behind Hernandez tonight. It looks like this. Arcia is in left, Hicks in center, Parmalee in right. Plouffe at third, Florimont at short, Dozier is at second, Morneau at first, Maurer behind the plate.
Michael Brantley will lead it off for the Indians. He's hit in 4 straight. And takes a strike from Hernandez. Brantley lifts one to deep left. Back is Arcia, and he makes the catch just in front of the warning track. For out number 1, that ball had some pretty good carry on it. Brantley going the other way with pretty good power, and Arcia just did get back in time. And
well, Good swing, good stroke by Brantley. He gets back there and he jumps up and able to track it down. Take an extra base hit away from Michael.
Now Jason Kipnis looks at a first pitch strike.
This guy is not overpowering. He's another left-hander that'll top out around 90. His big pitch is the circle change. Little bump back liner there to Dozier at second.
Take a look at our keys to the game tonight. Score first. Well, that didn't happen. And looking for their 5th strong start in a row.
Well, they are 10-2 when they score first. They're 2-11 when the opposition scores first.
As Dribble Cabrera steps in with a 10-game hitting streak. Remember, it was just a week or so ago when Cabrera was really struggling offensively. But Terry Francona reminded everyone that Cabrera has a very good track record. And Francona was saying that he'll get just as hot as he has been cold. And he is right about there. 14 hits and 37 at-bats during his 10-game streak. He's raised his average over 100 points.
Well, and it's just a long grind to get back up there. He's getting back up to respectability, but he's putting quality at-bats out there. And it seems like when he gets aggressive in the count earlier, even though it's a 3-0 count now when he gets a strike, he's been successful on the first 3 pitches.
Yeah, right.
You know, he's not waiting and getting in the hitters' counts. He's been aggressive early, and he's been getting a lot of hits.
Now a 3-0 count. And takes a strike. It's the 6th time, and as Dribble's career, that he has had a hit streak of at least 10 games. The career best is 12. Now the 3-1. And it's ball 4. A 2-out walk keeps the inning alive.
That's what you like to see, too. And you will see a lot when guys are swinging well. They'll take that walk.
Well, it'll give Mark Reynolds a chance to bat here in the first inning. Reynolds has hit in 4 straight games. 7 hits in his last 18 at-bats. And he's having a terrific season to this point. But even he has been somewhat in awe of Ryan Rayburn, the offensive exploits he's had. And so much so that Reynolds joked, I'm just going to copy what he does every day. I'm going to eat what he eats, everything.
Put his jersey on. Steal it.
Runner goes, and Reynolds shoots it right back foul.
Had a good jump and had a good swing. You know, a lot of times with the way Reynolds can hit the ball out of the ballpark, you don't want to steal and give him a chance because he can make it 2-1 in a hurry. But look at the jump. He had an excellent jump, and Reynolds also had a very good swing at that ball, and he fouled it straight off. That's a good fastball that he was going after. He would like that one again.
Yeah, he just missed it. He was right there. He was on it, but he didn't square it. And now he's down on the hole 0-2. Another foul back.
Well, 0-2 pitch. This is getting too much of the plate. He's had 2 in a row.
Oh.
He got away with 2 of them.
Two down with Cabrera at first. The 0-2, a little bit outside with it.
Pedro Hernandez was acquired by Minnesota along with Eduardo Escobar From the Chicago White Sox for Francisco Liriano. Last year, he was originally signed by San Diego.
He's been involved in a couple of trades that involve big names.
Yeah.
The 1-2, throw to first instead.
From San Diego, right.
He went to the White Sox for Carlos Quentin back in 11. Again, Hernandez sets to the 1-2, and he ran that one in. Reynolds able to fight it off, stays alive.
That's the pitch he's going to have to be successful on to the right-handers for the Indians today to make that changeup that he loves to throw down and away, that circle change, successful. It's almost like a screwball that he has. And, you know, a young guy, sometimes he has a tough time repeating his delivery, and the speeds are inconsistent.
Reynolds shoots it foul. Well, this is a situation where the Indians thrived in their 2-game sweep of the Philadelphia Phillies. With 2 outs, the Indians went 14 for 28.
Wow.
Scoring 15 runs.
You know, and they went for how long? They couldn't buy a hit with 2 outs, and now they're hitting 500. That's how baseball is. But, I mean, when you get a couple of hitters that get a 2-out base hit, everyone seems to relax, and it just goes from there.
1-2's in the dirt. Back to even now. Good at bat here for Mark Reynolds. If Reynolds gets aboard, Carlos Santana would be next. You saw him in the on-deck circle. Cabrera, meanwhile, at first with a 2-2 count. He draws a throw, and he's back easily.
Well, if you're Cabrera, now you stay put. Give Reynolds an opportunity to hit one out. He's back into the count.
The 2-2 pitch. And he strikes him out. So after an inning, it's the Twins 1 and the Indians nothing. Is brought to you by McDonald's new Premium McWrap. Try one today. And by Kia. 1-0 in favor of the Twins as we go to the second inning. Leading off is Chris Parmalee.
That's right, dollar dog night tonight. People going to take it in. See how many they can eat on a Friday night.
Pitch down low. Folks still coming through the gates. Out in left field on a beautiful Friday evening. Everybody's got spring fever here in Northeast Ohio, and with good reason. Parmalee shoots it out of play to the left. Chris Parmalee, just a couple of years ago, was in Double-A. And I don't know if it was one of those life-changing experiences or just one of those moments where everything kind of clicked for him, but he was working with then minor league hitting instructor Tom Bernansky on some minor adjustments, and everything started to click for him. He's out looking here, but he hit .366 at Double-A, and then in 21 games with the Twins that year, he hit .443. And now Tom Bernansky has found his way to the big league coaching staff.
Yes, he has. Yeah, and this is the pitch that has made Justin better to the left-handers this year is the slider. Because sometimes he can go off the plate and it comes on the outside. Sometimes he can pitch him inside. But it's made him much more effective to lefties this year than he has been in the past.
Trevor Plouffe looks at a ball down low. Like Chris Parmalee, Trevor Plouffe, a former first-round pick of the Twins back in 2004. That's hit deep right field on the run, and out of room is Ryan Rayburn, and the ball is gone. So Trevor Plouffe shoots one out of here the other way, and the Twins now lead it 2-0. Rayburn was on a dead run. He got to the wall, but it looked like he might have crashed into the wall before he got to the height of his jump.
Yeah, Plouffe has some pop. But that ball, again, middle of the plate. He's made some mistakes today early into the game, and he stayed on it inside out. And it's a good approach for a right-hander against Masterson. And it was a line drive that he just let it track deep into the zone. And he gets it right over the yellow line and into the seats. So it's a quick solo home run.
Now ball hit the deep center field. Stubbs racing back on the track, looking up. It's off the wall. And into second base is Oswaldo Arcia with a one-out double. So the Twins teeing off here in inning number 2.
Oh, boy. I'm telling you, we're going to look at a lot of those hits. They have 4 hits already, and I'll bet every one of them is the same spot, a fastball down the middle of the plate. And the hitters let you know. And this one was deep off the center field wall. They almost went back-to-back. It's a second double for Arcia.
Well, now here is Aaron Hicks.
This is the young man that were leading off the year, and he got off to such a horrendous start, and he was striking out, wasn't walking. That average is doubled compared to what it was after they got him out of the leadoff spot. But they have to get a look at their young man. They got rid of 2 center fielders they had.
Bounces it to first. Santana will flip to Masterson. 2 down. All right, with 2 down in the inning, Pedro Florimon is coming up. Let's go downstairs and check in. Here's Katie with him with what the approach is for Masterson is tonight against these Twins.
Well, Matt, Justin Masterson hasn't been able to use his two-seamer as much as he'd like lately. The key for him is to come out and be able to pitch off of that tonight. But Mickey Callaway told me going against this lefty-heavy Twins lineup, he really has to throw that backdoor slider for strikes.
Well, and he did do that in this inning to Parmalee to start it off, but he has made some mistakes with, I don't know if it's the two-seamer. They look like four-seamer, and maybe it's not moving. It's staying straight. But anytime Masterson pitches, when you look at him this year, the right-handers coming into the game hitting 190, the managers load up their lineup with left-handers to face Justin. So he has to be on his game. He needs the fastball, and he needs the slider because he doesn't mess around a whole lot with a changeup.
Pedro Florimon with 2 down and a runner at third. Hit to center field. Back goes Stubbs on the dead sprint. Now backpedaling on the track, makes the catch. And the side is retired, but the Twins go deep. Trevor Plouffe with his 3rd home run of the year, and it's 2-0 Minnesota. Two nothing now in favor of Minnesota. And we go to the bottom of the second inning for the Tribe. Carlos Santana, Ryan Rayburn, and Mike Aviles. Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile Index. Carlos Santana leads the league in batting average, on-base percentage, and slugging percentage. Good eye, good hitter, good power. It's a terrific combination.
Well, and he's had his stroke from both sides of the plate this year. You know, he has always taken the walk. Is one thing. He got homer happy last year where he felt he had to do maybe too much. But he has been locked in this year.
He checks, it's a called strike, and the count is 0-2.
Look at that split. He's down from the left side. He's only 372.
There's a foul back. He's really struggling, huh?
Yeah. You know, rarely do you see switch hitters, banging it from both sides like he is. Usually they have a preference on one side because they don't get to see a lot of left-handers, but he's been good from really both sides of the plate.
Swung on and missed, and Santana goes down swinging. One out here in inning number 2. Here's our great clip of the game from Wednesday. Ryan Rayburn with 4 hits against the Philadelphia Phillies, helping the Indians to their 4th straight win. Rayburn has now hit in 5 straight games, 12 hits in his last 14 at-bats. He visited with Katie Witham earlier tonight on Indians Live and said, he's not a big superstition guy. He said, I'm not one of those guys who wears the same underwear and things of that nature. He said, I try to do the same work, though. I keep my routine the same so that I'm ready to play and ready to go each and every night.
Well, you have to break that in.
And therein lies the difference between superstition and routine.
Yeah.
Routine is more habit. Superstition.
Well, they'll wear the same socks. They'll maybe sometimes eat the same food, or you do something crazy. You'll drive the same way to the ballpark instead of saying, "Hey, you're right." Going through your routine is a little different than superstition.
Kevin Romberg. He always had to touch you last, right?
Don't touch. Yeah, no kidding. He's out and about. He still does.
Over his last 3 games, 11 for 13. Just the 5th Indian since 1916 to do that. Obviously, he's in a pretty good spot as far as picking up the ball, seeing the ball. And, even Mark Reynolds said, I think Ryan was struggling a little bit there in Kansas City. He said, I think he went out after that and said, what the heck with it. I'm going to start swinging. Just be aggressive. Get after it. Rounds it to third. And Trevor Plouffe throws him out, 2 away.
MLB.com At Bat is the #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Indians baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and more. Text At Bat to 31826 or visit Indians.com for the details.
Mike Aviles showing bunt, takes, and the pitch is a little bit low.
This is the first time that they've faced Hernandez. So that first time through the lineup, you're going to have to. He hasn't faced any hitter in this lineup. So they got to see exactly what he throws and the speed and get in that batter's box. You can watch all the tape you want, but until you get in the batter's box, you can't really tell.
That's down low. 3 balls, no strikes.
He had that count to Cabrera and ended up walking him with 2 outs in the first.
Mike Aviles in his last 8 games has 6 hits. If he gets aboard, that man, Yan Gomes, would be next. And the 3-0 pitch is right there on the outside part of the plate. And he walks Aviles, so second time tonight he's walked a hitter with 2 outs. And it will bring up Yan Gomes. Indians a little banged up right now. Seems like they've been banged up for a long time as far as getting their full arsenal on the field together at the same time. And right now they're missing Michael Bourne and Nick Swisher. Bourne on the DL. Took batting practice today. Hopefully, if things go well, he'll progress to rehab games here in the near future. Swisher hopes to be back in the lineup by tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. He's just been bothered by soreness in his throwing shoulder. But as Nick said, he goes, they've been doing pretty good without me. And then he laughed out loud. But, hey.
Well, you don't feel like you have to rush back, if in a situation. You're better off taking an extra day or 2 to benefit you, especially when the team's playing well.
Well, and how good does that make Mike Aviles, Ryan Rayburn, the extra guys, when they get a chance to play and the team wins and does well?
The team wins.
Yeah.
The team wins. There it is. It's not who's in there, who's making the money, or who's playing. It's the team wins, and that's the concept. It's a beautiful thing.
Runner goes up high, throw down by Maurer, and they got him. So the inning is over at 2 complete. It's the Twins 2 and the Indians nothing. Out to the third inning. Brian Dozier started it off with a single and then came around to score in the first inning. Shows bunt, takes low and away, ball one. Dozier, like so many pro athletes, a multi-sport star when he was younger, played all four sports in high school: baseball, basketball, football, and golf. And he taps one to short. Cabrera with the bare hand attempt, and he doesn't come up with it.
He might have had a little more time than he thought on that ball because that was hit a little harder. Aviles couldn't cut it off. He might have had a chance to get some glove on it, some leather, because it took a nice bounce up. And as quick as his feet are, he could have gotten the ball, but he chose to go with the bare hand and just didn't field it cleanly. Sometimes that's hard to do. That had a little too much steam on it.
So Dozier's aboard again, and now Joe Mauer, who had a base hit his first time up. A little bit outside, ball one.
Justin needs to throw that two-seamer for a strike. He hasn't been able to do that yet. That's got to be a pitch that he can sink to the left-handers. That way it'll make his slider coming in that much better. He's had a flat four-seamer.
Runner goes, and Gomes couldn't get a grip on it. So Dozier has his second steal of the year, and the Twins aggressive here with the lead. They have a runner in scoring position. Nobody out.
Yeah, there's a two-seamer, and he comes up, and in the transfer, he just can't hold on to it. So Dozier gets his second stolen base. Now, man on second, nobody out.
Two balls and a strike. Ground ball to Cabrera. He can go to third, but he chooses to go to first. Apparently Dozier was in the line of the throw, so he takes the out at first base, but boy, it looked like they had a great shot to get Dozier.
Well, it takes the double play away. You can see Dozier coming in, but let's see where Aviles is at. And you're right, he might have been right in line to throw and goes to first base and gets the out, so now you can bring the infield halfway in. Try and cut off the run at the dish.
And Justin Morneau, the batter. Morneau with a sac fly his first time up. Interestingly enough, it's his first of the year. Lifts that one out of play down the left side. Morneau is a guy who will hit the ball in the air a lot, which is why I think it's unusual that he would only have one 24 games into the year. But sometimes you try too hard to get it in the air and you
get it inside on him. You can jam him, bust his bat. You give him swinging room and he can hurt you. Yeah. He had 6 home runs and 20 RBIs against the Indians last year. He did a lot of damage. Make him work for it in there. Go with that good. If you can get it in there, he's been having a hard time spotting his four-seamer, so that may be why they don't want to try it. But there you go. See, he went inside and that ball went away. He does not have his command tonight. It's easy to see. See, there goes Gomes sliding inside. Give me that two-seamer in, and look where that pitch, it misses away. So you miss by 2 feet almost.
3-1 pitch. And he walks Morneau. So first and third with one out now for Ryan Doumit.
When we're talking about the locations, look at this. The first hit of the game, there it was, an 0-2 pitch. That was way too good. And then you'll see Mauer get a fastball. He fell behind him. That was a 3-2 pitch. And another fastball right down the middle. That was the home run. So you can see where they got their 2 runs. Here's the double after the home run. That's off the center field wall. So he's just having a tough time commanding his four-seam fastball. And he's not hitting consistently with the two-seamer. So those left-handed hitters, and he's had trouble in his career against Minnesota. There's a slider, but he still seems like it's flat. It's underneath. That ball is up for the slider for him. He was having tilt on it earlier. Maybe not in his last start, but prior to that, he had tilt going down. His slider is like a frisbee, man. It's staying on the same plane.
Infield double play depth as Dolan fouls it off of his leg, and it's 0-2.
That looked like a good two-seamer going down right there, down in the zone. That's the ball that's tough to square up. Watch the movement. There, he got on top of it, and there goes the ball. He's a big guy, and sometimes it takes a while for him to get going.
Now the two-strike pitch. A little bit high. Swung on and missed. He strikes him out. Good fastball for Masterson. And there are two down now here in the third inning.
Well, he needed a strikeout, and he gets it. That ball, he just got him. I mean, he swung through it. Moment with that guy looking to hit a fly ball, and he just swings through it. So he gets a big second out there and trying to keep it out at third base.
And now Chris Parmalee called out on strikes his first time up. Sky high pop on the infield should get him out of trouble. Cabrera calls for it and makes the catch. The Twins strand a pair here in the third. Minnesota on top, 2-0. Just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game. Brought to you by Miller Lite. For the Indians here in the third, it will be Yan Gomes, Drew Stubbs, and Michael Brantley. Gomes was at the plate when Aviles was thrown out trying to steal to end the second inning. And that's fouled into the photo pit right next to the dugout.
You know, the Twins at the 500 mark coming in here, everybody picked them, or I guess they expect them to finish last, but they've gotten a couple of good starters going out there. Scott Diamond, of course, he's 2-2, but Kevin Correa, the guy that's pitching tomorrow, has done a nice job for him.
Terrific, yeah.
Real nice job. But the other two guys in that rotation outside of Hernandez, who's here, Mike Pelfrey, who we will see on Sunday, and Vance Worley, those two guys have struggled, and they may make decisions on those two guys, not too distant future if they continue to struggle.
Yan Gomes takes a pitch the other way. A line drive base hit to open the third. First hit of the night for the Indians.
I like to see that approach. It's a very good swing. He had a pitch elevated, though, and he took it the other way. That looked like a high changeup. Takes him the other way, so they get their first hit, leadoff single.
It's going to bring up Drew Stubbs. 5 hits in his last 8 at bats. Hernandez will toss to first.
You better watch out. We've got the speediest catcher in the league right there. I'm surprised, but you get that sign from the dugout. And maybe they felt the hit and run was on, or they felt that they could run on him. But you wouldn't think with the catcher, especially after the last guy getting thrown out when you take off.
Stubbs breaks his bat, lines it into left field for a base hit. And Yan Gomes will stop at second in the bottom of the order, starting a rally for the Tribe here in the third.
I think the approach that you should take with this guy is like what Gomes had. And Stubbs tries to go that way, and even though he's trying, he still hits it off the end of the bat and pulls it. That was a good pitch, down and away. See, he had his hand, he was just out in front of it. That's why he hit it off the end of the bat, but he was looking the other way with that swing. So back-to-back singles here to open up the third, and we'll roll it over now for the second time.
Michael Brantley flied to deep left his first time up. He hit the ball well. And he lines one to center field. Hicks, though, has it in his tracks to make the catch for out number 1. The runners have to hold. Tonight's injury report brought to you by Elk & Elk, serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Here you get a look at the Minnesota injury list. Darren Mastroianni. Jason Kipnis lined out his first time up. Swats this one deep center field. Hicks racing back on the dead run. It's over his head. Hits near the base of the wall. Around third, scoring is Gomes. Right on his heels is Drew Stubbs. And he will score as well. It's a 2-run triple for Jason Kipnis. And the Indians have come back to tie the game.
I'm going to tell you, you want to talk about good base running. You watch Drew Stubbs on this ball. He was off and running before you even know it. And, I mean, great job. He knew the ball was going to get over his head. It was a great read. Kipnis smokes this fastball straight away center. Stubbs is off and running. This is going to be our McDonald's. I'm loving it because one swing of the bat ties it up. So Kipnis goes, you see, where Gomes was just looking and cruising. You better hurry, boy. You got a greyhound on your tail. He is coming in, and he scores, not even a throw at home plate.
One more base, and Stubbs would have caught him.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a triple for Kipnis.
His first triple of the year. And now he's at third with one out, and the infield is in as a Drupal Cabrera swing and a miss.
Well, they made the adjustment now after the base hits there. He's only thrown 7 pitches this inning, and the Indians have 3 knocks.
Hernandez delivers. And Cabrera sends one high in the air. Shallow left. Not deep enough, I don't believe. Well, let's see. Kipnis is going to tag.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nope, he's not going to test the arm of Arcia, who looked like a pretty good throw. He got off 2 away. Just not quite deep enough.
Well, you're going to get, there's a good look at it right there from that camera angle. He's in shallow left field, but Kipnis goes ahead. He's going to force a good throw, and as a base runner, and he would have been out because it would have been a one hopper. Morneau over to cut it off. So Cabrera can't get the runner in. See if they can do it with 2 outs. That's what else they've been doing a lot too in the last 4 games, picking each other up. If one guy doesn't do it, it seems like the next guy does.
Well, Mark Reynolds had some opportunities in the first inning in terms of pitches that he just missed, fouled back. He had a couple of balls looked like they were right in the hitting zone for him, but
that's what happens. I mean, pitchers, you can make good pitches and guys get base hits. Other times you can throw one right down the middle and they foul it off.
So far this year, with a runner in scoring position and 2 out, the Indians hitting a major league second best .316 as a team. The 2-0. A little bit high. 3 balls, no strikes. Carlos Santana would be next. The Indians getting to Hernandez here in the 3rd, and it's the bottom of the order that sets the table. Back-to-back singles by Gomes and Stubbs, and then Kipnis brings them both home with a triple to deep center field. Now he's trying to get home on a 2-out hit by Mark Reynolds, but will he get one to hit?
Nope.
Ball 4.
It's all right. Keep the line moving.
Rick Anderson, the pitching coach, going to go out and talk with Hernandez. We are going to take a look at our AT&T trivia question tonight. Name the first 4 players to reach 300 homers and 300 stolen bases. We'll have the answer coming up later in the game. Carlos Santana struck out swinging his first time up. He has hit in 6 straight games, and during his hitting streak coming into tonight, batting a cool .500. 11 for his last 22 coming into tonight. Chops it foul over toward the Indians' dugout. So the Indians looking for that big 2-out knock here in the 3rd to take the lead. The pitch, and it's fouled out of play. Now the 0-2 coming. A ball and 2 strikes. That was pretty close. Hernandez.
They want that
fastball
in. He probably had it right there. That's a good pitch. Catch a break. Change up away. We'll see.
In the dirt, and a good block by Mauer keeps everybody held at their bases.
Very good block. Well, you know, when you're a catcher and you call a breaking ball or whatever that pitch was, they wanted to go back inside. It looked like he wanted the cutter or the slider inside. You just, I think, anticipate that ball's going to be in, the worst pitch it could possibly be, and then you make the play like that. Maurer did a beautiful job to just back it because Reynolds couldn't even go to second base.
Santana, though, back in the count now. And the 2-2. Hit in the air to right field. Parmalee on the move near the line. Makes the running catch. And the inning is over. But Jason Kipnis delivers a ringing triple to center field, and the Indians have come back to tie the game. Yeah, it's a 2-2 ball game now as we go to the fourth inning. Trevor Plouffe, who homered his first time up, will lead it off. In there for a strike.
See if that gives Justin a little life now, coming back and tying the game here in the third at 2.
Bunt, foul.
Not a bad idea if you're Trevor Plouffe trying to get a base runner. Here's a guy that just hit a home run, and next at bat he's trying to get on base with a bunt. Not a bad idea. Of course, that home run was only the 17th that the Twins have hit this year, and they are rated second to last in the league in homers.
There's a ball pretty well hit the deep center field, but back goes Stubbs, and he'll run it down.
Well, you don't want to miss the first T-shirt giveaway tomorrow. It'll be tomorrow afternoon. These Minnesota Twins. It'll be game 2 of a 3-game series. The first 10,000 fans will receive that red jersey right there. That's a replica jersey. Back of 74, 75, 76, 77. The alternate jersey T-shirt. It's courtesy of the Plain Dealer. So for your tickets, log on to Indians.com.
Oswaldo Arcia takes a look at a strike over the outside corner. The Twins signed him when he was 16 years old. Out of Venezuela. Big bouncer to first. Carlos Santana has an easy play. 2 down. Right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, Francisco Lindor is tearing up the minor leagues. Full coverage of the Kentucky Derby. Wow. Is it already the run for
tomorrow?
the Roses?
Yes, it is.
And the MLS is hoping Robbie Rogers makes a return. Get complete coverage of all today's action involving Ohio sports on foxsportsohio.com. Two down now for Aaron Hicks.
Yeah, then Sunday's Cinco de Mayo.
That is right.
Or is that tomorrow?
No, it's Sunday. A little bit low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Up high in the Twins batting order tonight, you've got Chris Parmelee batting 5th, Trevor Plouffe 6th, Oswaldo Arcia 7th, and then Hicks 8th. Arcia, I mentioned, was signed when he was 16 years old out of Venezuela. Parmelee, Plouffe, and Hicks, all first-round picks. So you talked about, young outfielders and kind of rebuilding. Well, these are the guys they invested in. These are the guys they targeted in the draft with their first-round picks. And nice to see an organization able to draft guys, develop them, get them to the big leagues. Now, whether they succeed or not, a whole different story.
That's right.
Justin Masterson, his best inning so far tonight, sets him down 1, 2, 3.
Ballpark fare here at Progressive Field this year. You get a $4 12-ounce domestic beer and also $3 Sugardale hot dogs at every game. So log on to Indians.com. Actually, today's Dollar Dog night. If you're out here tonight, you get 3 for the price of 1. How about that? All night long.
Lionel Richie there.
No, I'd be dancing on the ceiling if I was him.
Ryan Rayburn will lead off this home half of the 4th inning, tied at 2, and it's down and in ball 1. Rayburn grounded out to third his first time up. And there's a charge to left field. Arcia makes the catch, hangs on. Looked like he was fighting the lighting, huh?
I think you're right. Looked like he put a hand up there, and it must have been in the little bank of lights as he was running into it. But that ball was smoked, hit right on the nose. Yeah, there it is. He ran it into a bank of lights, and you see him close his eyes. He was lucky because as that ball went into his glove, his eyes closed.
I got to be honest, I can't remember another left fielder having that issue.
Well, sometimes when you're running into the alley, there's four or five banks right up there, and you might have just ran it right into him. But the bottom line is he caught it.
Yeah, that's right. Mike Aviles walked his first time up. He drives one to right center field. Parmalee on the run, won't get it. It's in the gap. It'll go to the wall. In fact, over the fence for a ground rule double. Mike Aviles will stop at second with one out here in the fourth inning. And for Aviles, his second double on the year.
That might have been a bad break because you never know if it hits the wall. It may deflect some way, and he might have been able to get to third. But that was a good pitch. The only thing that helped out Aviles is that it was up, and he took it the other way, and it hits that track, and it goes right up into the seats. If it hits the wall, possibility triple. But this is not a good triple park. Although Kipnis had one last inning, this is one of the tougher parks to hit triples in.
That's the spot to hit a triple, is that just to the left of straightaway center. That's where you seem to get triples here. Or you could be David Bell and hit one sky high to left, hit it off the fence for an inside the park home run. You could do that.
And that was a cycle day. He ended up hitting with the cycle off of.
Was that off Randy Johnson that hit that
it was.
inside the Parker?
Sure was. Good memory.
The set and the 1-0. And Gomes goes the other way down the line, but it slices foul. Boy, he was bidding for a second opposite field hit of the ball game.
It's a good swing. I like that approach as a right-hander off this guy. That was the slow breaking ball. He really waited back nicely on it. And he could tell as he was running down the line that ball was slicing, foul. Still a good swing. Now, to combat that, you got to try and maybe run one inside and back him off the plate because he's really trying to take everything the other way.
He's got a quick enough bat, though. He can turn on it.
Oh, I know. See what Mauer does here.
They do come inside. He breaks his bat, and it's blooped to the shortstop, Florimon, who makes the catch for out number 2. Here's our stat of the game, brought to you by your Northern Ohio Buick dealers. 14 or more hits in 4 straight games. First time since 1962 the Indians have done that.
Tito was 11 for 23.
Wow.
Not that Tito, Daddy Tito. Senior.
The original Tito.
Yeah. That's Terry, but you're right, Tito, 11 for 23, 3 homers, 8 ribbies. He could hit. Good stat. That's a lot of hits, 14. 4 straight games.
Yeah. Well, here's Drew Stubbs. His broken bat single in the third helped set up the 2-run triple by Jason Kipnis. Stubbs taking a strike. Drew has 6 hits in his last 9 at-bats, so he's starting to heat up a little bit.
Seems like the second pitch has been the favorite one for the Indians hitters tonight. Out of the first 17 hitters, 10 swings. Look at that. Make that 11 out of 18.
Pedro Hernandez, you see there on your screen now at 60 pitches, 36 of those have been strikes. Fouled right back, and it's 0-2.
See that fastball in there, that's one of the hardest ones he threw tonight. As a hitter, you're still able to get a piece of it. You know, so if you're able to, and he throws it inside, able to get a piece of it, then you really have to wait on something off speed away. So that goes to show you, take that opposite field approach. Because he can't get his best fastball by you inside.
Stubbs trying to go the other way, pops it in the air, might be playable. Parmalee near the seats.
He got it.
Or, excuse me, Dozier got over there and took it away from Morneau, and the inning is over. only from AT&T Uverse. Rethink possible. By your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Panini's, with 19 locations in Northeast Ohio. Two our score as we go to the 5th inning. Pedro Florimon will lead off for Minnesota, then Brian Dozier and Joe Mauer. Justin Masterson has settled down. He's retired 5 in a row. And Florimon looks at a first pitch strike. He sent Drew Stubbs onto the outfield track in deep center field his first time up. Masterson, 2 quick strikes.
Well, Florimon, a guy that he played well against the Indians last year when we saw him. I guess all the Twins did when you beat a team 12 out of 18 times. Look at that.
Swing and a miss. It goes all the way to the backstop, and he's going to be aboard.
Yeah. He wasn't even close on that ball, and Gomes couldn't hold on to it. That ball was way in off the plate. Watch how far in. He's sitting away. Now this ball goes inside, and it cuts. It's almost like a slider. Almost hit him on the back leg. See, Gomes was sitting way over, so he had so far to go over. Ball got by him, got to the screen, so Florimon reaches. Goes a wild pitch for Masterson.
Now Brian Dozier is 2 for 2 on the day. Lays down a perfect bunt. Gomes jumps on it. Goes to first. Got him. Boy, great throw by Gomes. As Florimon, the go-ahead run, moves into scoring position. Dozier with the sac bunt. 1 away.
That's a beautiful bunt. You know, that's almost a perfect bunt. Gomes comes out and then fires a strike. There's Santana down there, so they gets a sacrifice down. Go ahead run moves into scoring position.
Joe Mauer 1 for 2 on the night. Base hit his first time up, grounded to short in the 3rd. And Masterson, he's found the plate
starting
here.
To get a feel for it,
innings,
isn't he? Yeah, he sure is. A 1-2-3 inning last time, and he's starting to get the ball down.
Masterson eyes Florimon at second, and a good
slider.
backdoor slider gets him ahead in the count.
Well, that's the pitch that Mickey Callaway felt he had to throw tonight for strikes to be effective. That was a good one there.
Now the 1-2. Fouled back. Masterson with a 1-2. Swung
Nice.
out and missed. He gets Mauer to strike out. 5 Ks on the night. The inning should be over, but because of the wild pitch, Justin will have to get a 4th out essentially in the inning.
That one's a beautiful pitch. Down and in, it's a ball, and he did get a piece of it, but it went right into the glove of Gomes, so a good pitch. For the second strike, he threw that slider away to put him away. He came down and in. That was really good.
Justin Morneau walked his last time up. Sends one high in the air to shallow right field. In comes Ryan Rayburn. And Masterson cruises through the 5th.
gets 4 outs.
Here at the ballpark. What was the game time temperature, Tommy Bowe? 76? Last night downtown Cleveland was hopping. Folks were out and about. It was beautiful deep into the evening. And we got a similar situation here tonight. Supposed to be, the last forecast I saw, the weather looks great all through the rest of the homestand. Top of the order for the Indians, Michael Brantley. Jason Kipnis as Drupal Cabrera here in the 5th. Brantley 0 for 2. Right back up the middle. He scoots it past Hernandez. And Michael Brantley is aboard to start the home half of the 5th. It's the second time the Indians have had their leadoff man aboard.
Yeah, they had success the first time.
In-game recap brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Minnesota got on the board in the first on a Justin Morneau sac fly. And then Trevor Plouffe going the other way for a solo shot in the second. But the Indians come back in the third. Jason Kipnis drills one to deep center, driving home a pair to tie the game at 2. Now Kipnis watches a throw to first. Now Michael Brantley, with that base hit, is now hitting .304 on the year against left-handers. In fact, he came in on the year, Rick, .302 against lefties, .302 against righties. You gotta love that.
It doesn't matter to Michael. He takes that same approach.
Kipnis fouled that off of Maurer, and then the ball carried all the way in, almost into the dugout suite. It went straight back to the screen.
Yeah, he's got to check everything and make sure it's intact.
Where did this hit him at? Right on top of the helmet?
Top of the mask.
Top of the mask, yeah. Ooh.
That's a jolt, man. That's a big dude.
Jason Kipnis lined out to short his first time up. Throw to first. Brantley able to get back. Michael's without a steal so far on the year. Pedro Hernandez is making just his 4th career start in the big leagues. Coming off his first career win. His last time out. He made his first start of the year, his 2nd career big league start, then 2 appearances out of the bullpen.
He balked.
He sure did.
Yeah, he never came set. He came down and just came right to home plate. And both umpires got it. It was Laz Diaz and Tim Timmons.
So Brantley goes to second.
First. So, yeah, watch this. He'll come and he doesn't stop. He comes down. You see, never had a pause in his stop, and both umpires caught him, so good call.
So now Brantley in a scoring position.
See, there's the pause right there.
Kipnis bunts it in the air, foul. And the count 0-2.
Okay, now you got to battle him. He wanted to do it. He just popped it up in the air. Had the barrel head of that bat below the baseball. Watch how he's got the barrel underneath the baseball. It goes up in the air. He wanted to move him. The right idea. He didn't execute it, so now he's going to have to battle now. Try and get him over. Just try and put it in play.
Hernandez turned to throw, but nobody was home.
Well, he pays attention to the base runners an awful lot. He doesn't have a good move to first base. He's just stalling for time.
In the dirt, good block. Again by Mauer. Hernandez went 80 pitches his last time out. He's at 67 right now. The 1-2 to Kipnis. Low again, 2-2.
He's never pitched more than 5 innings this year. That was his first start at Baltimore. That's April 7th. Then his last start at Texas, he went 5. 5 hits and did not allow a run. And that's the one thing that the Twins do have. They've got a very stingy bullpen. Second best in baseball. I think it trails only Atlanta Braves. They're good. They've pitched well this year.
Ron Gardenhire and Rick Anderson looking on. Might have some activity in that bullpen. As Kipnis takes aim on this 2-2 pitch.
You're starting your 3rd time through the lineup.
Low again, full count.
Yeah, 0-2 to 3-2. He's been locked in, so he must be picking them up pretty well. He didn't even bat an eyelash at that pitch. He's had a couple close away. But stay that patient on a 3-2 pitch here.
Crowd starting to feel it a little bit here in this 5th inning as the Tribe threatens to take the lead for the first time in the ballgame. Payoff pitch. Right back to the mound. It gets by Hernandez. Dozier from second base flips it to Morneau. And Kipnis gets his job done.
Yes,
he moves
he
Brantley to third with 1 out.
I'll tell you, that was really a good at-bat for Jason to get him over. After being down in the count, he tried with the bunt, fell down 0-2, got it to a full count, and he still got him to third base. Look at it. He doesn't show up in the box score, but I'll tell you what, those boys in there appreciate it.
Especially when you come back from being down 0-2.
Yeah, against a left-hander, right.
And now you give one of your hottest hitters a chance for the second time to put the team in front. Cabrera flied to shallow left with Kipnis on third and 1 out in the 3rd inning. Now he's got Brantley at third and 1 out, and a ground ball right to Florimon. So Cabrera, for the second time in the game, can't get it done. 2 away. That time he went back to his early in the count swing approach. Fox Saturday Baseball returns tomorrow as the Orioles head to Anaheim to take on Mike Trout and the Angels. Fox Saturday Baseball tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern Time. Mark Reynolds 0 for 1. He has struck out and walked. Reynolds walked with 2 down and a runner at third his last time up, so he's got a chance again to give the Indians the lead. Down on the dirt. You know, Michael Brantley was watching closely when that ball was in the dirt, but Maurer does a good job, for as big as he is, of blocking and keeping the ball in front of him. Threw it by him. Good fastball. Good location. Tied him up inside. 1-2.
Well, this is one of the better balls he's thrown tonight as far as velocity-wise go. It was up just enough. He got a piece of it, but right into the glove of Maurer. So now he'll be down in the count. 1-2.
And Reynolds tees off. Deep left field. Arcia and Hicks look up. Gone to Souvenir City. Mark Reynolds, a 2-out, 2-run homer. And the Indians have the lead for the first time tonight at 4-2. For Mark Reynolds, home run number 9, his 23rd and 24th runs batted in on the year.
Well, they tried to sneak the heater by him again, and he didn't get it inside. I think the call was right. Maurer wanted a fastball in. Look where he's going. He doesn't get it in. He's got to reach back out over the plate, and Reynolds hits it a mile. He knew it as soon as it left the bat. You better get it in on him, and when you miss in. If not, you're going to pay, and he pays right there. It's a 4-2 Indians lead.
Carlos Santana, he takes a strike. That moves him into a tie for the league lead in home runs. When the day began, Chris Davis had 9. Michael Morse from Seattle had 9, and Edwin Encarnacion of Toronto also had 9. Now Mark Reynolds joins the club.
Two out homer. You're just looking to get that guy in from third base. What's it do? It picks up Cabrera.
And that 2-out with runners in scoring position continues as Santana lines a ball to center field to keep the inning alive.
Well, he was due to get on. He's hitting too well not to be on base. That's his first hit of the night.
7-game hitting streak now for Santana. Reynolds has now hit in 5 straight games.
They want it inside. He doesn't get it there. And the young man says, man, I made a mistake. And that's, he's got to live with it. He'll see that pitch later on. Sometimes you want to, after you throw that pitch, you want it back before it even gets to the plate.
Well, in their last 5 games, the Indians have scored 26 runs with 2 outs. The opposition has scored just 3. That's a pretty good success formula when you can score the tough way and hold the other guy from doing it. Ryan Rayburn has grounded out and lined out.
Well, that's right. Didn't you say Reynolds wants to hang out with Rayburn and do whatever he does? Well, he's on his way.
Ryan has rubbed off on him. No, we talked about Reynolds yesterday. He's having a great start. Ripped foul. I mean, he will swing and miss, but we've seen him, take a shortened up approach at times. We've seen him zero in.
you know, what I like about him and what I like about Rayburn, it's you know, you don't hear them, you don't see them. They just go about their business and do their thing. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, they apply themselves the same every day. So when they are in a hot streak, it's beautiful and it's fun to watch for those guys.
Down on the dirt, 2-2.
But they go about it professionally. No big deal.
Yeah. Pedro Hernandez still 2 down in the inning as he tries to get Rayburn, but Ryan with a 2-2 count now. And he hits a ground ball to short. Florimon goes to Dozier, and that'll end the inning. But Mark Reynolds, with his 9th home run of the year, has the Tribe on top now 4-2.
Monday, May 13th, when the Tribe plays a traditional doubleheader. That'll come against the Yankees because of the rainouts. First pitch is at 12:05, and one ticket is good for both games. Log on to Indians.com for your tickets.
Good old-fashioned traditional double dip.
Yeah, that's the old days. A half hour in between games, and in between games are going to honor Mariano Rivera.
Yep.
In that time, because it's his last tour into Cleveland. They were planned on doing that the first trip around, so really neat event that will take place, so come on out.
Ryan Doumit leads off the 6th inning now for Minnesota. He is 0 for 2. Bounce to second base, whereas Drupal Cabrera plays with the shift on. So that still goes in the book as a 6-3 for out number 1. And we'll send it to Katie Witham, who's in the brand new suite here at Progressive Field.
Hey, Matt Rick, I'm hanging out here in the new teen suite at Progressive Field. It's perfect for birthdays, graduation parties. It holds up to 40 people. You can get transportation options included. I've got some of the students from Nordonia High School in here hanging out. Guys, what do you think? It's brand new. Is it fun? Yeah! We're having a great time. You've got to check it out. It's available on select Fridays and Saturdays. Matt Rick, I know you guys want to come over here.
Katie, we'd love to, but we're busy.
Chris Parmalee, a little gimpy as he heads down to first base. That ball got him, I think, on the ankle or on the foot, maybe.
Well, that one, he couldn't get out of the way. It started at his knee, and he tried to jump out of the way, and it just stayed right there like it had a tracking device in there.
Got him on the calf, I think.
Carlos says, you all right? Yeah.
Sure.
It's easy to ask if you're all right when you don't get hit. That's it.
So he's been hit enough to know.
Well, that's true. Carlos gets hit every day.
Takes one to know one, right? Trevor Plouffe homered his first time up, fly to center in his last at bat. Called strike right at the bottom of the zone. Little jam job towards first. Santana will take it himself.
Yeah, just get the one. All you can do.
2 down. Parmalee moves to second base. Let's go back to the Hyundai Studios right now for an in-game update with Al Pawlowski.
Hey, Matt, Rick, let's go to Toronto where the Mariners and Blue Jays were scoreless in the 4th inning. Then Kyle Seager unloads his 5th home run of the season, a 2-run shot. They added a couple more for King Felix, who's currently throwing a 2-hit shutout into the 6th inning. 4-0 Seattle leads the Jays, Matt.
Boy, Eric Wedge loves Kyle Seager. And you know when Eric really likes a guy? When he uses this phrase when he talks about him. He's a baseball player. And Eric was talking about him the other day, and he just likes the way Kyle Seager goes about his business day in, day out, and getting some good productivity from that young man. And they need productivity from just about anybody.
Yeah, they sure do.
There's a liner toward left field. Brantley on the move near the line. Can't get to it. Going to drop for an RBI hit as Oswaldo Arcia gets the Twins a run closer. It's now 4-3.
So the hit batter cost Masterson a run. That ball just didn't have enough on it to get out to Michael Brantley. He was thinking about diving. I was watching him running after that ball, but he can't make a mistake. Tying run at the dish. You got to keep him off scoring position. Just didn't get it hard enough.
Two down for Aaron Hicks, who is 0 for 2 on the day. He has grounded out and struck out. Fastball up and away. Aaron Hicks out of the Los Angeles area, went to Woodrow Wilson High School in Long Beach. Fouled out of play. Such luminaries have come out of Woodrow Wilson High School, such as Bob Lemon, Indians Hall of Famer.
Very nice.
How about Jeff Burrows, who was an MVP back when you played?
Yeah, he was with the Rangers and then the Braves. He was a good player.
And a guy you played against, Bobby Grich, also went to that same high school.
All right.
The 1-1. Checked his swing. Look out, that went right past Terry Francona in the Indians dugout.
Heads up, Skip.
Wonder if it got Brad Mills, or is he the one that was diving out of the way? The 1-2 in the dirt. Two. Little bit low and a full count.
Well, take a look at it on our Nissan pitch tracker. That ball slider just hair down it, which it was. That one went straight down. There was no tilt. That went all the way down.
Now the payoff pitch. Runner goes. And it's ball 4. So Masterson looked like he was going to maybe get out of the inning. But the hit batter came around to score when Oswaldo Arcia dumped an RBI single into left field. Now he walks Aaron Hicks, so 2-on-2 out for Pedro Florimon.
Twins trying to do it now with 2 outs.
Masterson deals, and Florimon takes up and away. Ball one. Fastball takes off again on him. Finds the inside corner with that pitch. And now it's 2-1. Well, Pedro Florimon, native of the Dominican Republic. And the Twins got him off waivers from the Baltimore Orioles a year ago. Bounce to first. Santana has it. He'll go himself, and the inning is over. Twins get a run closer, middle of the sixth. Drive on top 4-3. Chuck's last call. Chuck Galletti will take your calls on tonight's game and get you the latest information on what's going on around Cleveland sports. Chuck's last call tonight after Indians Live on Sports Time Ohio. Hope you're enjoying your Friday evening wherever you are. Bottom of the sixth, Indians by a run. Mike Aviles, Jan Gomes, Drew Stubbs due up. Breaking ball in for a strike. Looks like Brian Dunsing might be getting loose in the Twins bullpen. Aviles lines one to center field. In comes Aaron Hicks, and he makes a running catch. One down. Time to revisit the AT&T trivia question. Come up with the answer. First 4 players to reach the 300 homers, 300 stolen base mark.
Well, Willie Mays is in there, and you know the Bonds boys.
Both Bobby and Barry.
I think so.
And the Hawk, Andre Dawson. It was on this day in 1979 that Bobby Bonds hit his 300th career home run with the Cleveland Indians.
Yes.
Your Cleveland Indians, your teammate that year.
1979, I remember it. He hit 30 and stole 30 that year.
Swung on and missed. How old would he have been in 1979?
That I don't know.
Had to be towards the end of his career, though, right?
I would think so, but
I mean, to steal 30 bases toward the end of your career, that's pretty
he
impressive,
was,
man.
he was still in great shape.
Yeah.
And came back in the 80s as a hitting coach here.
Yeah. Redbird said he was 33 that year. So at 33, he can still hit him and he can still run. Yan Gomes awaiting the 2-1 pitch from Pedro Hernandez, and it's a little bit up and away, 3-1. Pitch number 90 coming up for Hernandez, who's probably on a short leash now, with the left-hander up in the bullpen.
Well, he figured, I got to send this young man out, for one more inning, see what he can do. He's facing the bottom part of the lineup. Sometimes you have to stretch young pitchers out to see what they can do.
This was the part of the lineup that got him back in the third inning. It was Gomes and Stubbs with back-to-back singles. It started the Indians' 2-run rally. Here is Stubbs, who is 1 for 2 on the night.
Well, that left-hander is waiting in that bullpen for the guy on deck.
And pitch outside for ball 1. White Sox and Royals rained out tonight in Kansas City. Boy, talk about some miserable weather. They were calling for snow last night. Here's the 1-0 pitch, a little bit outside. Kansas City had their series finale against Tampa Bay rained out last night, so they've had back-to-back games rained out. And a game rained out with the Indians that they immediately made up with a doubleheader. 2-0 pitch. Low, 3-0.
Yeah.
Think he's out of gas?
He might be. He might be. I mean, this is the longest he's pitched in a game this year. And he might be, but he's got to work his way through it.
Yeah, from a pitch count standpoint as well. Most pitches he'd made was 83. He's at, 93?
Yeah.
The 3-0 to Stubbs. Taking all the way in there for a strike.
That's the one thing about a lot of young pitchers. They get up to the big leagues, and the minor leagues, they get in around this pitch count, and they may be at 7 innings. You get to the big leagues, and guys foul off pitches, and they don't swing at some of your pitches. You're in the 5th inning, more so, and they don't know how to do it because a lot of them don't see the 6th, 7th inning, and it's a learning point that you have to do, and it's tough if you have to learn up here, especially when you're going through this lineup, for the 3rd time. Doesn't matter what your pitch count is. You got to dig deep and give it all you have to get out. This will be his last hitter, I would think.
The 3-1. Stubbs tees off, drives it high in the air, deep left. Arcia back, looking up. It is off the top of the wall. Into third is Gomes. He'll be held there. And Stubbs stops at second base with a 1-out double that just missed getting out of here.
Well, I lost that into the night.
I had a tough time seeing it at the end.
I didn't see it even hit the wall. But I'll tell you, you're right. He didn't miss it by much. He hit it high. He hit it deep. He thought he got enough of it as he's going back, and we'll see where that hits on the wall because it comes straight down and hits the track.
I think it hit right in the middle of the lit-up scoreboard.
Okay, that's probably why I missed it. Yeah, you're right.
Right in the E on Medical Mutual.
You got it. That's where it hit, in that light spot there. So didn't see it come down. Gomes was able to read it, gets to third base. It's a double, and now Hernandez will go to the shower.
And it's time now for today's Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen. And it's left-hander Brian Dunsing who will be coming on when we come back. 4-3, Tribe on top. They've got runners at second and third and one out. Left-hander Brian Dunsing coming into the ballgame for the 11th time this year. No wins or losses. 2.16 ERA. He has walked 7, struck out 3 and 8 in the third innings. He'll be facing Michael Brantley, who is 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored.
He's been tough on lefties. He's 30 years old. He 222 this year and 217 for his career. And that young man, the third time through, they were 4 for 8 off him. And that walk to Gomes. So we'll see if they can get him in. They have an opportunity to add on here in this 4-3 ball game.
Brantley takes a little low.
Dunsing he bounced between the rotation and the bullpen last year. Did much better in his 44 relief appearances. Went 2-4 and had about a 3.47 ERA.
Infield in for the Twins with a 1 out. The 1-0 pitch. Takes a strike. Now the bottom part of the order is really swung the bat well tonight for the Tribe. The 7 through 9 hitters have combined to go 4 for 7.
There you go.
A couple of runs scored. Chance to score 2 more.
Well, the infield's going to try and cut the run off at home plate, so Brantley looking for something that he can just get over the infield. Hit it hard.
Fouled right back in the count 1-2. Tigers lead Houston 1-0 down at Minute Maid Park there in the third inning. Terry Francona hoping to see Brantley drive in a couple of runs here. 1-2 pitch. Missed inside with it, 2-2 the count. This is a pretty big swing in the game right here. The Twins have just scored to cut the Indians' lead to a run. For the Tribe to be able to come back, maybe knock in 2, would be big.
Well, he went inside, and let's see if he follows it up, because he usually want to keep him away. He's looking for a strikeout and gets it.
He got it all right. Got him looking. 2 down.
He went inside as a purpose pitch.
Here's the AT&T Uverse rewind tonight. Let's go back to the third inning with 1 out, 2 on. Jason Kipnis slugged one to deep center. Jan Gomes and Drew Stubbs right on his heels, able to score on the triple. As the Indians came back to tie the game, they would eventually take the lead. They have not trailed since the 2-run homer by Mark Reynolds in the 5th. Kipnis with a little squeeze bunt. Throw to first, no. Dunsey keeps it in his pocket, and the Indians take the lead. Gomes scoring from third as Kipnis drops down a perfect bunt, and the Indians lead it 5-3 as Nick Swisher loves that play.
That's called the element of surprise right there. Beautiful job, Kipnis. I mean, heads up. They're playing back. Look how deep he is at third. I mean, Plouffe is back there, so all you have to do is get the ball down. And by the time that Dunsing breaks off the mound, he can get to it. He's got nowhere to go, nothing to do, surprised everybody, and look at him. That's a heads-up play when you just get it down on the ground. It's a hit, it's an RBI, and it keeps the inning going. Nicely done, Jason Kipnis.
As Drupal Cabrera 0 for 2. Trying to keep his 10-game hitting streak alive. Pitch is outside for ball 1. The Indians continue to come up with some big 2-out hits.
Yeah, I love that one there. That's the element of surprise.
Cabrera drives one up the alley. Hicks on the move, and he'll make the catch. And the inning is over. But Jason Kipnis lays down a beauty of a bunt. The Indians add a run. 5-3 Tribe. Check out Progressive Field tonight from our Panini Cam, brought to you by Panini's Bar and Grill. Well, Justin Masterson will face the top of the lineup here in the 7th inning, armed with a 5-3 lead. Fastball strike at the knees. Brian Dozier, 2 hits. Stolen base, a run scored, lay down a sacrifice bunt. Pitch up and in. Found out of play. I mentioned before, Dozier, a 4-sport star in high school. In football, he was a wide receiver and a holder his first 2 years. Holder for the kicker his first 2 years because his brother was the quarterback and the kicker. Then when his brother graduated, he became the quarterback and the place kicker.
Carry on tradition, my friend. So it was the Dozier boys at his high school, huh?
Up and in. That almost got him, or did it get him?
It did get him.
Yeah, it sure did.
Well, not the way you wanted to start.
Laz Diaz doesn't agree. He says, no, it didn't hit you.
You know what?
He never signaled that the ball hit him.
You know what, though? Maybe Dozier's just trying to get on base. And let's see. Gardenhire's got to come out and say something. I know it was close. See, we can't tell from that angle. That ball goes off the glove of Yan Gomes. Watch it come in.
No,
never hit him. He's just trying to get on base. And you know what? That's his job. He couldn't fool it, though. It was a good act. I don't know. It didn't win an award, though. Couldn't fool Laz Diaz. He was on it, huh?
He was a 4-sport star in high school. Nowhere does it say drama club.
Not acting.
Payoff pitch hit in the air to left. Back goes Brantley. Near the track. And makes the catch, one away. Once again, here's Katie Witham.
Well, Matt, the first T-shirt giveaway courtesy of the Playing Dealer is tomorrow. If you don't have your tickets, log on Indians.com. Get them right now. The first 10,000 fans through the gate are going to take home this 74 through 77 alternate jersey. And check out who's on the back.
Nice.
That's right. We are going to honor you, Mr. Rick Manning.
Katie, you weren't even born when I was playing here.
No, but you remind me how good you were every day.
Who told you I was number 28? Murph?
Murph, I had to ask. I'm not going to lie. I did ask.
I knew that. Just look at the license plate.
Looked like you wrote it with crayon on the back of that jersey.
Well, you know what, though? She's not allowed to keep that jersey.
Line to center. Here comes Stubbs. That great speed closes on that in a hurry. 2 away. Remember the 1 year in fantasy camp? I had that Frank Robinson, number 20.
Number 20, correct.
And I put a piece of tape in the middle of the 0 to make it 2-8.
That was fun, yeah. But you had a legitimate jersey.
Well, and we won, too. We beat the pros that day.
Oh, well, go ahead.
Sorry about
Let's
it.
see the highlights. Roll them.
I don't think we have any highlights. Downstairs.
But that was our team, right?
Yeah,
I was a manager. I didn't play with the pros, so
right.
I was okay.
That's why I'm giving you credit.
Let's go. Roll them down there. Let's go.
Strike called. Yeah, you had me and Jimmy Hanlon, Dave Pensura.
Yeah, we had some of the boys. Eddie Nemi.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Swung on and missed. A ball and 2 strikes. Masterson trying to mow him down here. Just missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Good breaking ball. Just going to be down. I like it. It had the plate.
Morneau lines it over the head of Kipnis and in front of Rayburn.
How about that for placement?
He beats the shift with a line drive single to keep the inning alive.
That is unbelievable. I mean, they had him positioned perfectly. He just had the right trajectory to get it over the head of Kipnis and in front of Rayburn in right field. Nicely done. That's serving it out there, baby.
Over the linebacker in front of the safety.
Yeah.
Beats the zone every time. Now Ryan Domit, who is 0 for 3 tonight. Checked and a little bit low, I guess. You mentioned, that ball goes off the glove of Gomes all the way to the backstop, and the tying run now into scoring position.
That one took off on him, and that may be a pass ball because that was just about head high. Let's see. It's coming right in, and it definitely hits off the top of his glove back to the screen.
Ryan Domit, switch hitter. Taking all the way, it's in there for a strike. Josh Willingham not in the lineup tonight. He terrific year last season with the Twins, but just 2 for 12 in his career against Justin Masterson. The 3-1. Full count. Masterson near 100 pitches on the night. This could be it for him. This Friday night crowd, some of them coming to their feet as Masterson tries to keep it a 2-run lead. Payoff pitch. Bounced foul. Domit, a former catcher with the Pittsburgh Pirates.
He does a little catching here with Minnesota to give Mauer days off, and when he doesn't catch, DHs.
The payoff pitch. Weekly tap, but it's in the hole, a base hit, and coming around third. Morneau will score, so Domit beats the shift. Even though he weakly tapped it, it was right in the hole where there was no defense.
Yes, indeed. At that time, he burns the defense. He didn't try to pull it. Good two-strike approach. You can see where Aviles was at third base. That's directly over the shortstop. And now that pass ball comes back, and it hurts Masterson as they come back and make it a 5-4 ball game.
Yeah, once again, it's time for today's call to the bullpen, brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic. As Justin Masterson departs, and the Tribe is in front 5-4. It's a one-run game here in the 7th inning. Ryan Domit with a 2-out RBI bouncing single to the left side of the infield. And now Cody Allen on for the 10th time this year. 1 win, no losses. ERA .219 in 12 1/3 innings. He has punched out 15. He has walked 5. And he'll be facing a left-handed hitting Chris Parmelee.
Yeah, Minnesota, you can't shake them. They've scored single runs in the 1st, the 2nd, the 6th, and now the 7th. Masterson, 6 2/3, 8 hits today. He walked a pair, struck out 5, had a wild pitch, and the pass ball. Both the wild pitch and the pass ball hurt him.
Well, think about that, Rick. In last inning, there was the hit batter that came around to score on him with 2 outs in the inning. So last inning, 2 outs. An RBI single by Oswaldo Arcia scored a run that had reached because of a hit batter. And then here in the 7th, with 2 outs, a pass ball moves a runner into scoring position, and he comes around to score. Indians in the dogfight tonight. Kind of what you expect when you get back into the Central Division.
Sure. That's true. It's a pretty good curveball right there by Allen.
The 1-1. Fastball, strike over the outside corner.
Good heater away. That ball looked like it ran off the plate. He got the call.
Now the 1-2 delivery. Chopper foul, first base side. Well, it gives you an idea of how quickly Cody Allen has made an impression on his new manager and the new staff. He's getting more and more opportunities in high trust situations.
Well,
where
I'm just wondering. This is Joe Smith's inning. I don't know what's wrong with Joe. If anything is wrong with him, because this is his inning. If he comes in as the 7th, and Cody Allen is in there.
The 1-2.
But I know what you're saying. You earn the right to get into situations like this when you have the Smith, Pastano, Perez 7, 8, 9, especially when you have a lead.
Yeah, and left-hander, I think it's Rich Hill who's up too in the bullpen now. So,
well, you just faced the left-hander right here. Then you got the right-hander, Plouffe.
High fly ball, deep right field. Back is Rayburn. On the track, at the wall, he leaps. It's gone. Chris Parmalee with a 2-out, 2-run homer. And Minnesota comes all the way back to regain the lead, now 6-5. Parmalee's 3rd home run of the year.
Well, they keep battling. They're gonna battle you tooth and nail. He hung a breaking ball that time. He threw a one pitch before that grounded just foul, but he left this one up enough where Parmalee was able to get it, give it a ride, and it gets over the wall in right field. Look at the dejection right there by Cody Allen, and that gives the Twins a 6-5 lead. They've scored 3 here in the 7th with 2 outs.
Right back up the middle, hits off the glove of Allen. Barehand grab by Cabrera, throw to first, got him. Nicely done by his dribble Cabrera, assisted by Cody Allen, but the Twins with 3 in the 7th have regained the lead at 6-5. Time now for the 7th inning stretch. Brought to you by Spitzer Auto World. Life is hard, buying a car shouldn't be. Six-5 Minnesota now, bottom of the 7th inning. Minnesota going back to their bullpen. Third pitcher to work tonight is Josh Renicky. 9th time he's been into a ball game. 1 win, no losses, 1.5 ERA. 5 walks, 7 strikeouts in 12 innings.
Pitched in Colorado last year. Led all major league relievers with 88 2/3 innings pitched because of their starters out in Colorado. Remember, they were lucky to go 5 innings. So he got his work in. He's coming on to face Reynolds, Santana, and Rayburn. This may be whoever hits last.
You remember Gary Renicky?
Yeah.
This is his son. Josh Renicky, born in Baltimore, Maryland.
Right-handed hitting outfielder.
Was Gary Renicky the one that got hit in the face and he wore like the half face mask on his batting helmet?
Platoon with John Lowenstein.
Down low.
Reynolds' two-run home run in his last at-bat gave the Indians the lead. And then Parmalee's two-run homer gave it back to the Twins.
Reynolds taking it. It's a called strike, and the count is 2-1. Tribe will have to come from behind here tonight. Swung out and missed. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. 9 home runs hit by Mark Reynolds this year. 4 of his 9 have either tied the game or given the Indians the outright lead.
That's really good. Yeah, he usually hits them late in the game.
And now a full count.
Yeah, over the last 7 games, Twins bullpen has a 1.31 ERA. But they've been good all season long, 2.21 on the year.
The payoff pitch. Reynolds strikes out. 1 away. As promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Back in the 5th inning with 2 down. Mark Reynolds socked one to the bleachers that gave the Indians a 4-2 lead at the time. Reynolds with his 9th home run of the season. Tied for the league lead. But since then, the Indians have given it all back and now trail 6-5. Carlos Santana 1 for 3 on the night. Santana base hit his last time up. He's hitting 7 straight now. Up high, 1 ball, 1 strike. Right back over the screen. Well, a great Friday night crowd here at the ballpark this evening. Walk-up crowd, I believe, of around 5,000 as the Indians have put 20,200 in the stands here tonight. All in the dirt. And the count is 2-2. And Santana strikes out for the 2nd time tonight. And Josh Renicky has struck out the first 2 he has faced here in the 7th inning. We'll go back to the Hyundai Studios once again. Here's Al.
Hey, man, let's head down to Houston where the Tigers are taking on the Astros. Detroit ahead 1-0 here in the 4th. Victor Martinez with the runner on 3rd. It's a deep to right off the top of the wall. He wanted a homer, but instead it's a long RBI single. 2-0 Detroit, top of the 5th inning. Back to you, Matt.
All right, thanks. Here's Ryan Rayburn, 0 for 3 on the night. Inside, ball 1. Rayburn has grounded out, lined out, and tapped into a fielder's choice. Hits are even at 9 apiece. Shoots it back out of play. Coming into tonight's action, mentioned Minnesota right at the break-even mark at 12-12, a half game in front of the Indians, who are 12-13. Detroit and Kansas City started the night tied for the top spot in the division, but Kansas City's got a few makeup games.
Yes, they do.
They're 15-10. Detroit was 16-11 at the start of the night. 1-1 pitch. Low. Chop to third. Plouffe throws it over, and the Indians go 1-2-3. 7 complete. 6-5 Twins.
Be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
Well, the Tribe down a run. And in the 8th inning, Cody Allen staying on to face Oswaldo Arcia, 2 for 3 on the night. This guy does not get cheated.
No, well, I'll tell you what, he doesn't leave anything in the bag, man. He gets after it. He doubled up the center field wall in his first at bat, and a base hit to left field with an RBI back in the 6th inning.
Fastball took off.
We were looking at something in between innings, and it was pretty interesting, too, with that base hit that Dalmat got, you know, with the shift and how we had it. And when you look at it, the first time I'll be at a guy on first base when they had the shift on and you had a Vilas that was playing shortstop, you know, with a man on first. But the last time, there was a man on second, and he had to stay closer to the bag at third base, and he hit the ball right at short where he would normally be playing. So the difference in a guy being up a base made a huge difference.
Well, it's just one of those strange things when you've got that shift on. Remember back in the 6th inning, he grounded out to Cabrera, but Cabrera was playing where Jason Kipnis normally plays.
I mean, the shift was on. It was the shift that Aviles had to move over to third because there was a runner on second base, and that ended up being the go-ahead run at this point.
Jared Burton getting loose for Minnesota. Now 3-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Cody Allen gets Arcia. One away.
You know, let's look. Here's the first inning. Man on first base. Routine ground ball is short. That's Aviles. Easy flip. They get the double play. Now he comes up in last inning. Look at that ball. Aviles had to stay closer to third because of the runner on second, and it's an easy ball where he normally would have been. And there's the runner on second, forces him over to third base a little closer, and that would have been the third out, but you got that runner in scoring position. And how did he get to second base? Well,
now the pass ball.
Yeah. It's a little thing. I mean, you don't think about it, but that's the difference in the ball game.
Fouled right back. Aaron Hicks has grounded out, struck out, and walked tonight. And a fastball at the knees for a strike. And Cody Allen gets ahead of 1-2. In the bottom of the eighth, it will be the bottom third of the Indians' order. And they've been productive tonight. That bottom third of the Tribe order has combined for 4 hits, 2 walks, and 3 runs scored. High pop, foul, near the dugout, and out of play. Late innings are brought to you by Captain Morgan Rum. Raise a glass, always in moderation. One-two pitch from Allen. To third. Cabrera will have to hurry. Guns it over. Got him. Close play, bang, bang play, but a nice, strong throw by Cabrera on the run. Didn't have time to really plant, and still able to get him 2 away.
Well, you realize who's running and how the ball is hit and what you're going to have to do to get rid of it. And he realized he had to make an accurate, strong throw and gets him by a step. Nice play.
2 down now for Pedro Florimon, 0 for 3. Right back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rich Hill staying loose in the bullpen. He's up there for Maurer and Morneau. Florimon at the plate with 2 down. Dozier on deck, and then Maurer, followed by Morneau. Allen with the 2-1. High fastball, 3 balls and a strike. That's slap foul out of play. You were talking earlier about the Indians having 14 or more hits in 3 straight games. And you know how that's not easy to do.
Right.
How about the Cubs today? Had 15 hits and lost to Cincinnati 6-5. Reds only had 9 hits, but they made the most of them. Hits are even here, 9 apiece. Chop to second base. Jason Kipnis on the big bounce will throw him out. And Minnesota goes 1-2-3. We'll go to the last of the 8th. 6-5 Twins. Minnesota back to the bullpen. Jared Burton for the 12th time this year. No wins or losses. ERA of 0.87. Rally caps are on as the Indians try to come from behind here tonight. The Indians led this game. Going into the 7th inning before Minnesota scored 3. Aviles fouls it back.
Well, Burton, Jared Burton, the new pitcher, has done a nice job for the Twins. Set a career high last year with 64 appearances and gave up just a 186 batting average against in 62 innings. You can see that last pitch was a changeup that Aviles fouled off the end of the bat.
Hammered foul.
Now Bauer wants to go talk to him.
Aviles walked back in the 2nd inning. He doubled in the 4th and then lined out the center in the 6th inning. There's a line drive toward left center field. That's going to drop for a base hit, and the Indians get the leadoff man aboard here in the 8th.
Looked like he came right back with a changeup, Matt. It looked like it was off speed because Aviles got it off the end of the bat. It's another changeup. But he ended up getting too much of the plate. That one was down and in. That enabled Mike to at least get a piece of it and pull it into left center field. That's the 10th hit now for the Indians. And there's the tying run aboard.
Jason Giambi will pinch hit for Yan Gomes here, as Terry Francona goes to his bench for the veteran. And ball 1. Giambi, in that 14-2 game, went headfirst into first base, diving into the bag to try to get a base hit. And the dugout erupted when they saw that. Terry Francona said afterwards, you see a guy do that, that means everybody runs out every ball. There's no reason not to. For his part, Giambi said, I felt fine at the time. The next morning, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel.
I can see wanting a hit, but that's a tough way to get it.
Giambi said it was, okay, ankle, check. All right, that's still there. Knee, check. Okay, that's still in place. He's looking for a pitch he can drive here. 2-0. He hits one high in the air, deep center field. Hicks back on the track at the wall, makes the catch. And back to first goes Aviles, as Giambi's bid to give the Indians a lead came up a few feet short.
Boy, oh boy, he had the fans out of their seats. I thought he got it as soon as it left the bat. It was high. And he got a pitch to his liking, maybe just a titch off the end of the bat. You can see Hicks all the way back. He's feeling for the wall, but well in front of the couple of steps. So that's a long out. Mauer back out to the mound. He gave him a run for the money.
Yeah, he sure did. I don't know if that breeze might have knocked it down a little. Hard to tell.
He hit it high, and it may have just been a little bit off the end.
Drew Stubbs will bat here. He is 2 for 3 on the night with a single, a double, and a run scored. Stubbs.
Oh,
This one down the right field line.
placed.
Parmalee can't get to it. Aviles is already on his way to third. He comes around the bag and stops right there. It's a double for Stubbs, and the Indians have runners at second and third with one out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Well, Drew Stubbs with his 3rd hit of the night. Just goes the other way, bloops one down the line.
Well, this couldn't have been placed any better. One just missed. This one is a bloop. And by the time Parmalee could cut it off, Aviles was chugging around. He wanted to score, but he's held up, and you have to hold him up second and third. You can't have that tying run thrown out at the plate. Not when you can give Brantley an opportunity. So Stubbs gets his 3rd hit of the night, his 2nd double.
And the Twins bring the infield partway in. And it's up high, ball 1. They're even with the bags at the corners. Middle infielders just behind the baseline, I guess.
Well, Brantley had an opportunity last at bat to drive in one. He couldn't get it done, but this is the tie to ball game.
Jared Burton with the crowd getting into it now. The 1-0 is up high. 2 balls, no strikes.
Well, just remember, you got first base open.
Now they're going to put him on, Rick.
Yeah, that makes sense because a double play, you try and get him to swing, and Michael's not a guy that expands the zone. And so far tonight, the Indians 0 for 3 with a runner on third and less than 2 outs. So they're going to turn it over. It'll give Kipnis an opportunity. You see Gardenhire talking to his pitching coach, so he may go out and see what's going on and have a talk with the whole infield and set it straight. But the Indians in business here in the 8th inning.
In-game box score brought to you by your Northern Ohio Hyundai dealers. Jason Kipnis with a 2-run triple back in the 3rd got the Indians rolling tonight. Mark Reynolds' 2-run homer in the 5th put him in front at the time, but now they're trying to come back once again. Last year on June the 1st, Jason Kipnis with the bases loaded unloaded him with a grand slam off Carl Pavano. Let's see if Kip can come through here tonight. Bases loaded with 1 out. He is 0 for 1 on the year in bases loaded situations. So far this season, the Tribe 5 out of 17. That's a good for a .294 average. Kipnis has already driven in 3 tonight. And a pitch is outside for ball 1.
Patience. Pressure's on this guy right here, Jared Burton. The Aviles leadoff single. And then the almost home run. Giambi hit one to the track.
In there for strike. Kipnis not so sure. A glance back at Laz Diaz. 1-1 to count.
A lot of changeups and off-speed pitches by Burton. I thought he was more of a power guy last year, to be honest with you.
I think you're right. 7 balls, 7 strikes so far for Burton. You see the runners with the bases loaded. The 1-1 pitch, and Kipnis with a ground ball to second. Dozier bobbles it. He'll get the out at first, but the Indians tie the game as Aviles comes home, and we are even at 6.
Well, that just enabled them to get that run home. The Twins had a double play if he fields it cleanly. At least you would think so. By the time he gets the ball, I think he wanted to turn and throw, and he just never fielded it cleanly. See how short they're middle of that infield. If he catches it cleanly, they've got a good opportunity to turn it. He doesn't, so the only out he can get is Kipnis. Give him an RBI. We have a tie game.
And Jason Kipnis equals his career high with his 4th run batted in on the night. Now is Drupal Cabrera, who's had a couple of opportunities earlier in the game. Lifts one high in the air, and he pops it up. The shortstop, Florimon, will make the catch. So Cabrera can't get it done, but the Indians do come back to tie the game as we go to the 9th. Changes now defensively for the Indians. Carlos Santana takes over behind the plate after they pinch hit for Yan Gomes. And Mark Reynolds, who was DHing, goes in at first base.
So they lose their DH, and the pitcher hits in the number 7 spot. Excuse me, the number 8 spot for Gomes, I would imagine. How that works.
Activity in the Indians bullpen. Joe Smith, Rich Hill both getting loose. Cody Allen, who had gone an inning and a third, is still in the game now, facing the top of the Twins order.
I wonder why Smith wasn't up for the 7th inning.
Normally that is his inning.
Sure it is, especially when you have the lead. I know it hasn't happened a lot this year, but that is exactly when Minnesota came back to take the lead.
Fouled right back.
I wonder if Cody's on just for this hitter. Hill's on for the lefties.
Is Hill still down there getting loose, or he's probably already loose? He's been throwing for a while. Well, we'll wait and see what happens here. Dozier, a couple of singles and a run scored tonight. 2-2 pitch. Foul right back again. Casey Fiend and Glenn Perkins getting loose for Minnesota. Perkins is the closer. Ground ball in the hole. What a diving stop by Reynolds. Low throw. Reynolds can't beat him through there. Rather, Allen couldn't beat him to the bag. And I think the ball popped loose anyway.
Well, he couldn't lead him. It was a great dive, a great stop, and a tough feed because Allen would have beat him if he gives him a feed to lead him to the base. He couldn't do it. Watch the low throw, and he's got to stop to gather himself. See, he's got to go backwards and try and slide, dive, and get anything he can to the base. It's a good try, good effort. He just couldn't lead him right. So that'll go as a base hit.
All right, so Cody Allen's night is over. Yes, the Twins get their leadoff man aboard here in the 9th. The left-hander, Rich Hill, is coming on next. By Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. Now the highlights and a whole lot more coming up following the ball game. High game still very much hanging in the balance here. And a tie situation. Twins have the go-ahead run aboard to start the ninth. Rich Hill on to face Joe Mauer, then Justin Morneau. And then the switch hitting Ryan Doman. Brian Dozier is at first. He stole a base earlier in the ball game. That's 2 on the year.
Well, you certainly don't think they're going to be bunting here. At least I don't.
The Mauer's been struggling lately, but still, I mean.
No, it doesn't matter. He's too good of an eye at the plate. Too good of a hitter. You're not going to give up his bat.
1 for 4 tonight, so 2 hits in his last 27 at bats.
No, this guy's paid to hit.
Yeah.
Hill looking for a ground ball double play is what he'd like.
Mauer taking a strike. It's 1-1. Hill ready. The 1-1. Breaking ball fouled off right into the foot of Mauer. He was waiting back trying to tee off.
Yeah, but that pitch is so slow. It's about 73 miles an hour, and it's just really tough to wait. I mean, it starts out behind you as a hitter. And then all of a sudden, here it comes, and you have to keep waiting and waiting, and that's the toughest thing to do as a hitter. And this guy waits as well as any hitter in the league to wait on a pitch like that and square it up. It's like slow pitch softball, you know. I don't care if you know the guy has that pitch. It's still difficult to sit back on it and wait.
Hill with a 1-2 pitch. Now we're able to lay off. And the count evens at 2-2. Strike 3 called. Mauer out looking. And that's the first out of the ninth inning.
Well, Joe Mauer sitting on a breaking ball again, but they cross him up and throw him the fastball. They start him off, breaking ball away. He missed the zone. Comes back with the fastball for a strike. Then the big slow curveball he fouls off. He missed with one. He says he's coming back with one more. He gives him the sidearm fastball. The pitch before he went with the sidearm slider. So he might have thought he was getting that slider again from that arm angle, and he threw him the fastball.
And Morneau, a little half swing foul back. Shift is on. 3 on the right side. Aviles is over at the shortstop position from third. The 0-1. Popped him up. Aviles on the run. Toward the line. Makes the grab. 2 away. Take a look at our keys to the game from earlier tonight. score first. The Indians are 2-11 when the other guy scores first. But the Indians came back and regained the lead before Minnesota came back on them.
Yeah, and then they were able to tie it up.
Masterson had some good, but a couple of big two-out hits against him spoiled what could have been a pretty good night for him. Ryan Domit.
Yeah,
again, he goes
that's
to
good.
first.
You got to pay attention to him because you don't want him to just take a base. He did steal a base earlier tonight. He only has 2 on the year. Not that he's a good base stealer, but you have to make him aware that you are paying attention to him.
Upstairs with it, ball 1. Fouled in and out of the glove. 1 ball and 1 strike. Indians have won 4 straight, 7 out of 10 coming in. And in their 4-game win streak, they've just been beating up on people. But here tonight, the Twins got out to the early lead. The Indians led 4-2 before Minnesota came back, took a 6-5 lead. Indians came back and tied it in the bottom of the 8th. And now here in the 9th, all even at 6. And with 2 down, Minnesota has the go-ahead run at first base. And Ryan Domit down on the count, a ball and 2 strikes. And this crowd of better than 20,000 getting up on their feet. Swung out and missed. He got him. Rich Hill comes on and strikes out a pair. And the Twins can't take advantage of the leadoff man getting aboard in the 9th. And the Twins go back to their bullpen. The 5th pitcher of the night for Minnesota is right-hander Casey Fiend, a win, a loss, an ERA of 3.60. He has walked 3, struck out 9 in his 10 innings of work.
Well, we'll see if the Tribe can do it in regulation here.
Now, Rick, I know you're a big fan of college sports. Casey Fiend attended William Penn University in Oskaloosa, Iowa.
Didn't know that.
I'm not even sure I have any idea where Oskaloosa is.
Well, you say Iowa?
Yeah.
There's a cornfield around.
It doesn't sound like an Iowa type town, does it?
I know where Des Moines is, and that's about it.
I know where Van Meter is.
Van Meter, that's true.
Mark Reynolds, 1 for 3. Reynolds, 2-run homer back in the 5th. His 9th of the year. Swung out and missed. It's 1-1. He knew it too the minute he smoked it.
Well, he usually does. He doesn't hit many wall scrapers.
He hits light tower shots.
Yeah, he does.
Broke his bat on that grounder to short. Florimon throws him out. 1 down. Now Carlos Santana, who is 1 for 4 on the night. Santana takes a strike over the outside corner. Last September, Carlos Santana had a walk-off game-winning home run against these Minnesota Twins.
Doesn't look like him there with no hair, does it?
Wicked pitch down and in.
Well, the crowd's up. They would love to see the Indians get a run and win one here in the bottom half of the 9th.
The pitch. Santana swinging for the downs.
Good
Came
pitch.
up empty.
Yeah, good pitch right there. That slider down in the end. Nice and tight. That ball off the plate for a ball.
Indians have out hit the Twins 11-10. Well, we're tied in the run column at 6. Up high, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Show the fastball. Probably attack him with that same slider. They know, and I think everybody in this league knows Santana can hit a fastball. I don't care how hard it is. And especially that guy that's putting the fingers down behind the plate. You see it's coming back with this slider.
And he strikes him out. 2 down.
That's tonight. Santana's gone down 3 times on the strikeout, but another nice tight slider. Looks like it's going to be a strike, but all of a sudden it just gets out of the zone. Excellent pitch.
And now Ryan Rayburn, 0 for 4 on the night. Up high, ball 1. Casey Fiend with the 1-0 pitch. Rayburn a swing and a miss.
Well, that's this guy. He has got a nasty slider. If you're right-handed, you better try and stay on it. If you can even pick up the spin. That's probably the toughest thing about it. It's got late break to it, and you can see the Santana swung over it. He's got a nice, tight slider.
Another one, and it's fouled in and out of the glove, 1-2.
Let's check it out from our Exmo cam behind the plate. Look at that spin. Here it comes, and that's probably the toughest thing is to pick up that spin as a hitter on that pitch.
That one hung a little more than the previous slider.
Yes, it did. But when you throw a good one that one time, then he expects that next one in the same spot.
Up high with a heater.
Show the fastball. Take him off the slider.
Six score. Bottom of the ninth. 2 down. Bases empty. Ryan Rayburn will be looking at another slider right here. Swung on and missed. So Casey Fiend retires the Indians 1-2-3, and we've got extra innings tonight. Extra innings are presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky all season long. Jack Link's, feed your wild side. Chris Perez coming on now for the Indians. He'll pitch here in the 10th inning. He'll be facing Chris Parmalee, Trevor Plouffe, and Oswaldo Arcia. Glenn Perkins of the Twins already has 6 saves. Perez just 3. They just haven't had many save chances.
No, it's been that's the strangest thing about today is the setup of this game for me. Now I don't know who's available and how it works, because we don't have knowledge to that. But the 7th inning is usually Smitty's, and he didn't come in the 7th inning, and he was up there warming up in the 9th or the 8th inning, and it was just a strange setup for me.
There's a high pop foul. You got to believe.
Well, they know something's going on.
That Smith, it wasn't available, or at least when he
was, but
got up and tried to throw,
Well, that's true. That's true. That's something that they know and we don't, and we might be able to find out after the game. But right now you've got Perez in the 10th, and he's just trying to find a way to win a ball game and keep it going because they've won 4 straight. They never won more than 4 straight all last year.
Well, this is the guy, Chris Parmalee, who had the big blow in the 7th inning. He checked. Did he go? Apparently not. And, boy, close pitch. Didn't get the call there. 1-2. And the 1-2. Slider got him. Got him looking.
Well, he comes in and he just locked him up. He couldn't hit it. There's a nice breaking ball by Perez on the outside corner. When he has that slider working, he is nasty.
9th strikeout for Indians pitchers here tonight. Now Trevor Plouffe, who homered in the 2nd inning and is 1 for 4 on the night. Perez fires and a fastball in there for a strike. Line off the glove of Aviles, and it rolls into foul territory. Plouffe a wide turn, but stays right there at first base with a 1-out single.
That saved an extra base hit. I'll tell you, that was a nice attempt there by Mike Aviles. That ball hit right off the end of his glove. He was able to get up and go recover. Look at that ball hit hard. That's a double down the line. Just ticked it off the end of the glove. By the time he gets over, he's able to hold him to just a single. Good hustle.
Is that Jamie Carroll running at first base?
Oh, let's see.
No.
Escobar.
That is Eduardo Escobar. Yep, there he is. Broken bat, fly ball, shallow center. Drew Stubbs is right there. And we got 2 down.
Hicks getting called back to the dugouts. We'll have a pinch hitter.
And this is going to be Josh Willingham.
Yes, it is.
Terry Francona went to his big bat off the bench in the bottom of the 8th inning, and Jason Giambi just missed hitting one out of here. Now Ron Gardenhire goes to his big gun, Josh Willingham. Willingham hitting just .239 so far on the year, but 5 homers, 5 doubles, 13 runs batted in.
Willingham very dangerous on the inner part of the plate.
First appearance as a pinch hitter this year.
He has hit 3 homers in his last 7 games. A guy that had a good year for him last year, and he did some damage against the Tribe. Big, strong right-handed bat.
Pulled that one wide of the mark 2-0.
See Perez keeping it away. 1 for 7 in his career against Chris.
Right over the outside corner.
That's right where you want to keep it. Make him use the big part of the ballpark.
Going right back out there again.
Why not?
Boy, that was a pretty good looking pitch, but called the ball.
Well, you
3-1.
see, Santana came up. I don't know if he thought he was going to steal. And I'm not saying that he blocked out Laz Diaz, but, you know, when he comes up to throw, watch. See, he comes up there and can block him out on that pitch.
Yep. And he walks him. So 2 on with 2 out. And now Pedro Florimon will get called back. for a pinch hitter. Ron Gardenhire going for broke here in the 10th inning. Is this Wilkin Ramirez?
It's got to be.
Yep.
Calling all hands on deck right now.
Wilkin Ramirez, a right-handed hitter. And he's off to a terrific start with the Twins.
Yeah, eight hits and 21 at-bats in 11 games.
And now Mickey Callaway's going to go out
2
and talk
for 5
with Chris
as a
Perez.
pinch hitter. Yeah, he's got to go over. They'll go over the scouting report on this guy with Perez to make sure exactly what's going on. He wants to talk to his infielders.
And Jamie Carroll is pinch running now for Josh Willingham at first base.
How many guys have they used this inning? One.
That's everybody.
2, 3, 4, 5. That's right. They can't have anybody left.
The bench is empty. So Wilkin Ramirez batting here with 2 on and 2 out in the 10th inning. Chris Perez lets it fly and a check swing low. He went too far, says first base umpire Tim Timmons. I did not think he did.
Well, it didn't look like it, but he came up quickly, Laz did, and asked. No, he didn't go. The Indians catch a break right there. And Chris Perez will strike one, so that's a big break.
The 0-1 pitch in the air, right field near the line. Rayburn over. He's there. He's got it. And the inning is over. So Chris Perez gets out of trouble here in the 10th. We are still tied at 6. All right, let's get the defensive changes for Minnesota. Eduardo Escobar is now at shortstop. Jamie Carroll is at third base. So those are the 2 pinch runners that came on. And Wilkin Ramirez, the pinch hitter, who made the final out of the inning, stays on in center field. Casey Fiend, who retired the Indians 1-2-3 in the 9th, will stay on to pitch the 10th. It will be Mike Aviles leading off, and then the pitcher spot, so that would be Ezekiel Carrera in the on-deck circle. So here we go, Mike Aviles. He's had a pretty good night, 2 for 3, a single, a double. He has also walked and he has scored a run. Pitch outside for ball 1. Two balls, no strikes. There's Carrera, just claimed off waivers from Philadelphia. And a line drive base hit for Aviles. Over toward right center. Parmalee will cut it off, bobbles it a little bit, but makes a good throw to second. And he holds Aviles to a leadoff single here in the bottom of the 10th.
Aviles a great at bat. That's 3 hits for him. He's been on base 4 times tonight. He walked in his first at bat. Nicely done. Look at that. That's a tough slider that everybody's been having problems with, but he slaps it the other way. Gets himself a base knock, so now Carrera will be up there to bunt. Get him into scoring position. He's going to go down and talk with Brad Mills, third base coach. Aviles is going to get things straight with Mike Sarbaugh, but no question, it's time to get him into scoring position. Give yourself a couple chances.
All right, so Carrera, we mentioned, just claimed off waivers from Philadelphia. He's essentially here giving the Indians some depth and some insurance until Michael Bourne is ready to play again. The problem the Indians will have at that point is Carrera doesn't have options left. So if they want to send him back to AAA, he'd have to clear waivers, which he didn't do when Philadelphia cut him loose.
Yeah, right now he better get his bunt down and get the runner over is what they're looking for.
He squares, he bunts, it's foul. Right down into the box. Indians haven't had an extra inning game since game 2.
In Toronto?
In Toronto. That was
Really?
their only other extra inning game so far this year. And remember, they won that one thanks to Reynolds. Mammoth home run in that game. In on the grass at third is Jamie Carroll. Very good at his craft. Fiend deals. Carrera bunts back toward the mound. Fiend looks at second, takes the out at first. Carrera does his job. He gets Aviles into scoring position. That'll go 1-4 on the sacrifice.
Yeah, right down out front. Drew Stubbs tonight, though, has had a pretty good evening. He ended up singling his first at-bat. He doubled high off the wall in left field back in the 6th inning. And then in the 8th, he goes and hits another double. This one was a bloop variety, but it didn't matter. Ended up coming around. It set up the run to score to tie this ball game up in the 8th. Now he's got a chance to win this game with a base hit. You got Aviles out at second. So 3 for 4 for Drew Stubbs tonight and a chance to become a hero.
Pitch inside, ball 1.
Keeping him honest now. You see that at bat Aviles had. That'd be I think the thing to do. Try and take him to right center field. That's fine. Or Fiend's best pitch is the slider.
There's a line drive deep left center field. This is going to win it. Drew Stubbs doubles off the left center field wall, and the Indians will walk home with a 7-6 win. Drew Stubbs delivers with his 4th hit of the night. And the Indians stun the Minnesota Twins here in the 10th inning, taking it by a final score of 7-6.
Boy, what a night for Drew Stubbs. I mean, he hit a laser shot off the wall in left center field. What, 3 doubles tonight, his last 3 at-bats. Well done. And the crowd of 20,000, I don't think many left, Matt. They're loving it. 3rd career walk-off hit.
Now Drew Stubbs, like so many of these Indians hitters during this now 5-game win streak, really getting hot. I mean, Drew Stubbs with that hit, I think he bumps his average up over 280 now on the year.
You look at Aviles had 3 tonight. Stubbs had 4. Kipnis had a couple. That was a great night by Drew Stubbs. He's got to be thrilled to death here. Walk off his first time here in Cleveland.
And as Nick Swisher, who said before the game, kind of half jokingly, hey, man, I'm not playing, but these guys are winning. I mean,
well, he's having fun watching them.
The other guys are getting it done for the Indians right now as they win in extra innings for the second time this year, 2-0 in extra inning games, 7-6 the final. Here's tonight's key play of the game brought to you by KeyBank.
Well, look no farther than the last swing. We're just going to show you a replay on the slider. He left it middle of the plate. Stubbs hammers it off the wall again. Scores Mike Aviles, who had a good night. 3 hits for him, and it's time to go mob Drew Stubbs. Why not? His first game winner as a Cleveland Indian. Keeps the streak going to 5. That is your KeyBank replay. Visit your local KeyBank branch for low rates on a home equity loan. Certainly, certain conditions apply. See your branch for details. Nicely done.
Big win for the Tribe as they keep the mojo rolling. Their 5th straight win, longest win streak currently in the big leagues. Stay tuned. Indians Live is coming up next. Katie will go one-on-one with the hero tonight, Drew Stubbs.